Okay, so this video is going to explain special sets. So we'll just get straight into it. So supersets are a type of set that you might see in your training plan where there's kind of two exercises paired together in a workout. They're probably going to be highlighted in the same color to indicate that is a superset. These are used to save time or to get a more intense pump. In terms of saving time, you might have something like an antagonistic muscle group pairing, which would be something like doing something like your chest and then your back in sequence. Doing the chest exercise first isn't going to fatigue your back too much, and then you can still get an effective stimulus from doing the back exercise, but it saves time. You're not spending too long going between exercises and resting between all these different exercises, so saves time. And also probably does help with something like the pump. To get a more intense pump, though, it refers more to kind of using the same muscle in sequence in two exercises in a row. This could be something like doing a dumbbell bench press and then going into something like press ups straight after, or doing some pull ups and then going into something like bicep curls straight after that. It's going to give you a really intense pump in terms of those isolated muscle groups, and just cause more fatigue generally in those sets, which is then going to in turn hopefully drive more stimulus and more hypertrophy. It's probably unlikely that you'll see more of those pump-based supersets in my plans. I typically don't use them too much, but if something seems effective, I might do it just to kind of again save time and make an effective workout. Something to consider with supersets is that you don't need to go from one exercise to the other instantly. You don't need to finish your set of pull-ups and then go straight into bicep curls. Thinking about that example there, you can take a little short break between the two, maybe about 30 seconds or so. You can then rest at least 2 minutes between supersets. Is really important to make sure you're recovered again as much as possible to go into the next superset. So drop sets are another special type of set, where after completing a top set of your working weight, your plan might say to complete a drop set or two. This basically just means going from the final rep on the last weight you did, so the top set on lat pull down, the heaviest weight you can achieve for something like 10 reps. It might say then complete 2 drop sets. What you're going to do after that, as soon as you finish your last rep, change the weight down maybe about 20% or so, and then complete another all-out set of as many reps as possible. If it was to do 2, you'd then decrease the weight again once you've reached failure with that previous weight, the first drop set, decrease the weight again, go again for the second drop set. All this does is give your body all the opportunities to absolutely exhaust that muscle and give the muscle kind of as big a stimulus as possible to again drive hypertrophy, drive strength gains. If the drop set feels too easy, it likely means that the previous set with the working weight, that top set, could have been pushed further. And again, you can have a short rest in between the final rep of the working set and then the drop sets that follow. But yeah, the main reason behind a drop set is again to drive intensity in a shorter period of time, and it kind of does really seem to help with the pump. That's more like a anecdotal thing rather than kind of so much evidence base. Drop sets can be fun, can be effective, I think, but they're not going to be kind of the main meat and potatoes of kind of your workout. It's just a little bit of fun, a little bit of way to drive intensity and kind of make sure you are training hard enough at times. Cluster sets, however, maybe contrasting it to the previous two, where they're kind of a bit more for the fun side of things and kind of the pump and rather than kind of the science-based and kind of really effective types of training. Cluster sets, I think, are really, really important to include in training. I think they're really effective, not only for just a pump, but for strength stimulus as well. And again, I'll just explain them quickly. So cluster sets, they'd be listed in a program as something like 4x8-8. If that was going to be that rep scheme, it could be something like 3x5-5 or something like that as well. But basically what this means is you're going to do 4 sets of 16 reps, with each set split into 2 sets of 8. So you're doing 2 sets of 8 4 times. But these 2 sets of 8 that you're going to do 4 times are performed with only a short rest between them. That's about 30 seconds to 1 minute. And once those 2 sets of 8 are complete, then you take a longer rest period, again of like 2 or 3 minutes before repeating for your total of 4 sets. What this allows you to do is kind of approach failure like twice where you may otherwise only approach failure once if you're doing something like 4 sets of 16. But by approaching failure these 2 times, it's less fatiguing, and you can probably use a little bit more weight because you're not doing 16 reps in total. So you can use more weight, take a little rest, and get kind of more out of the sets in general than doing some really high rep sets. So yeah, it's a really effective way for building strength and building hypertrophy, as it brings you closer to failure and allows you to have a little bit of recovery between reps and between sets, and then get more reps out of a certain weight.